All right, let's just jump right in. We're living in this age where there's just so much information coming at us all the time, right? And it's so easy to feel like your emotions are just getting hijacked. So today, we are going to break down exactly how that happens, and this is the important part, how you can take back total control over your own emotional state and really the reality you experience day to day.
I mean, does that sound familiar? You wake up, you're feeling great, you grab your phone, and boom. Within minutes, you're anxious or angry or just kind of down. If that's you, you are definitely not alone. And that sudden whiplash, from feeling totally fine to completely overwhelmed, it's not just a coincidence. It's actually a specific phenomenon. And figuring out what it is, well, that's the first step to stopping it.
So, what is actually happening in those moments? I mean, what's really going on? Well, you're experiencing something that some people call an induced transition. It's this process that can literally pull your focus, your energy into a very specific direction. And the crazy part is, it often happens without you even noticing.
Okay, so think of it like this. An induced transition is like an invisible current in this massive river of information we're all swimming in. You just dip your toe in by, looking at one post or one headline, and suddenly, whoosh, you're getting pulled into a totally negative reality. A timeline, if you will, where all the dominant themes are anxiety and fear and conflict.
And this tuning fork metaphor, it is a perfect way to get what's happening. Just imagine your consciousness, your awareness is like a tuning fork. When you start your day, it's vibrating at its own natural frequency. Maybe you're calm, focused, feeling positive. But then you see something that triggers anger or fear. That emotional reaction literally retunes your fork to that negative frequency. And just like that, your whole perception of reality starts to shift to match it. So you might be wondering, how does this retuning thing actually work? Well, it's not random at all. It usually happens in 4 very distinct stages. And once you see these stages, you can't unsee them. And that right there is where you get your power back. So let's break down exactly how this trap is set. Okay, so it all kicks off with what's called the initial prod. Now, this isn't just any old headline. It is specifically crafted to be emotionally shocking, to just bypass your rational brain completely. So before you can even think, you feel it. That feeling, that's your emotional reaction. That jolt of anger or fear, it's like sending out a signal to all the algorithms saying, yes, more of this, please. And that leads you right into energy matching, where you find yourself doom scrolling, right? Actively looking for more stuff that justifies that first feeling. And then finally, you hit timeline lock-in. And suddenly, that abstract issue you saw online feels intensely personal. It starts coloring your entire day, your interactions, everything.
And this is the absolute kicker. It doesn't even matter if that first headline was exaggerated or clickbait or even completely false. Once your energy and your emotions are invested, you start to see and even create experiences in your own life that confirm that negative reality. That little bit of financial anxiety you felt, it might lead you to make actual financial mistakes. That fear of conflict, suddenly you might find yourself attracting it. You basically become both the fuel and the victim of the whole spiral.
Now here's the thing. This isn't all just happening by chance. The digital world we live in, a lot of it has been built by design to trigger these exact spirals. It's actually the fundamental business model of what we call the attention economy. Just look at the 2 big players. On one hand, you've got social media algorithms. Their one and only goal? Emotional activation. These algorithms are like heat-seeking missiles for your personal triggers. They don't care if you're happy or informed or well-adjusted. They just care that you're engaged, and nothing gets more engagement than outrage. Then you have traditional media narratives. Their goal is a little different, but related, to create a crisis consciousness. You know the old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. They amplify single incidents into terrifying trends and potential risks into imminent crises, all because that fear keeps you glued to the screen.
Okay, so that's the problem. We've diagnosed it. Now let's talk about this solution. And this is not about sticking your head in the sand and ignoring the world. This is about becoming a sovereign navigator of your own reality. It's about building like an invisible shield for your consciousness.
And you know what the best tool you have for this is? It's already with you. It's your body. See, your mind can be tricked. It can be manipulated. But your body doesn't lie. Your physical and your emotional responses are the most honest, uncorrupted guide you have for figuring out what information is empowering you versus what's trapping you. So here are 3 simple tests you can run in like seconds. First up, the expansion or contraction test. The next time you're reading a headline, just pause and notice your body. Does your chest feel open, like you can breathe deeply? Or does it feel like it's tightening up, even just a little? That's your first huge clue. Second, assess your energy direction. After reading that post, do you suddenly feel a burst of creative energy, like you want to go build something or solve a problem? Or do you just feel drained, agitated, and have this urge to go argue with strangers in the comments? And finally, check your time horizon. Is this information making you think about long-term, constructive goals? Or has it shrunk your entire world down to one single immediate threat that needs a reaction right now? And this all leads to a massive shift in perspective, captured in this quote. Instead of asking the old question, what's happening in the world, which, let's be honest, makes you kind of a passive victim, you start asking this new question, what reality am I creating with my attention today? That question changes everything. It puts you right back in the driver's seat. Your attention is your most valuable currency, and this question forces you to ask where you're really investing it.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. A common reaction to this is, wait, isn't this just sticking your head in the sand? And the answer is absolutely not. There is a huge, massive difference between being willfully ignorant and being strategically selective about where you place your emotional energy.
This slide really lays out the crucial difference. Think of strategic disengagement like being a surgeon. A surgeon is fully aware of the wound, they understand the trauma, but they have to remain emotionally detached enough to act effectively, right? Willful ignorance, on the other hand, is like refusing to even look at the wound. One is a position of power and responsibility, the other is a position of fear.
So with all that in mind, here is a practical, 4-step process to becoming what we can call an information sovereign. Step 1, set boundaries. Stop the endless, reactive scrolling. Seriously, choose a specific time of day to catch up on things, and when that time is over, it's over. Step 2, before you dive in, maintain your frequency. Just take 30 seconds. Breathe. Ground yourself in your own energy. Remind yourself that you're going in as an objective observer. Step 3, as you're reading, practice extracting the facts. Learn to see past all the emotional language and just pull out the 10% of actual, useful information from the 90% of emotional manipulation wrapped around it. And finally, and this one is a real game changer, use the 24-hour rule. If you see a piece of content that makes you really angry or afraid, just give yourself a full day, 1 day, before you comment, before you share, before you even form a strong opinion. That little bit of space, that's where you take all your power back.
Because ultimately, it really does all come down to this one question. Every scroll, every click, every single moment of your focus, it's a vote for the kind of world you want to experience. You have this unprecedented power to choose your reality. The only real question is, will you use it consciously